Well, let's stick with pharma. GSK is a winner today, posting an increase in sales and profit in the second quarter, driven by strength in its specialty medicine business. The company is confident it will reach the top end of its full-year guidance. And GSK CEO Emma Walmsley joins us exclusively now. It's great to have you, Emma. Welcome.
Great to see you, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
So just give us a picture, if you could, about what is driving your growth in this specialty medicines group. What's working well?
Sure. Well, look, it's obviously great to be reporting another strong quarter. That's 3 years of consistent uptick in operating performance for GSK since the demerger with Haleon. And of course, on top of, at the beginning of this year, upgrading our long-term outlook for the second time. This is driven by specialty medicines. And actually, we've got double-digit growth in oncology, respiratory inflammation, and in HIV, so all of our core therapy areas. And we're up in the US, up 17%. And critically, the US is 2/3 of our global specialty business. So all of that's going well. The most important thing, though, Sarah, is the really strong progress we're making in our pipeline of new innovation, i.e. what's to come next. We are on track for a record 5 FDA approvals this year, including in a brand new specialty COPD drug. COPD is the 3rd leading cause of death in the world. A breakthrough new asthma drug, the world's first 6-monthly treatment, a step change in overall survival in multiple myeloma. And then also alongside that, a new meningitis vaccine and the first new antibiotic for UTIs in 30 years. And we're hoping to add to that another 14 well, including those, but 14 new scale medicines and vaccines in just the next few years. It's all about the pipeline of innovation in our industry. That is the secret to bringing down the cost of overall healthcare, and we're definitely making good progress, which we want to add to both organically and with further BD.
But you wouldn't know it given the share price. I mean, yours and the industry. And I know you. I know that you're not understating the excitement here. I can sense it in your voice about some of the innovation and what you have in the pipeline. So what do you think the street is underestimating?
Well, I've made a habit of not trying to comment too much on the share price. What I'm really pleased is with the consistent upgrade in the outlooks that we've delivered and in our operating performance. You know, when we started the demerger, we had an outlook of 33 billion pounds for 2031. We upgraded it to 38, then again to 40, and I think the market is steadily moving up behind that. Obviously, what matters, not only in operating performance, is the data that comes through in our pipeline. And we're expecting, we had a record 4 to 13 phase 3 readouts last year. We're expecting another 15 by the end of 2026. So hopefully, as that data comes through, we'll see the market follow.
You know, one of the overhangs, I think, on the sector has been some of the changes we've seen at the FDA, certainly at the NIH, and what that means for funding. How do you process what this will mean? And do you know yet on your business?
Well, as I said, we're going for 5 new FDA approvals this year. We've already had 3. I think one answer to one of your questions is also, although it's the smallest of our 3 businesses, obviously we have a vaccine business and we're a bit more cautious about the outlook there this year. But importantly, we have had an approval for this new meningitis vaccine, a horrible infection that if you get meningitis, sadly, often within 24 hours, you've got 1 in 10 of our teenagers that will die from that infection if they get it, and 1 in 5 who will live with, life-changing injuries. And we also had the extension of our RSV vaccine to the 50 to 59-year-olds approved. So we continue to engage constructively and are looking forward to bringing this new innovation to American patients.
Emma, it's David Faber. There was a gentleman named Vinay Prasad who had a very powerful role at the FDA for a short amount of time. He's already out. And there was a belief that he potentially, as a gatekeeper to things like approvals for oncology drugs, was going to be very stringent. Is that a relief to the industry, perhaps, to see his exit?
Well, look, I try not to comment on other people's personnel changes. What we seek to do is engage, constructively with the agency, sharing our data, answering questions. And as I said, we're on a pretty good track record of approvals this year, and we're looking for 2 more by the end of the year. First of all, in December, we are really excited about this new 6-monthly asthma treatment. Now, the data shows that depemokimab reduces the kind of attacks that cause hospitalization by over 70%. For anybody who suffers from asthma, that's a pretty terrifying experience. And we've got to remember the burden of the cost of healthcare is often what happens in terms of the cost of hospitalization rather than the cost of medicines. We're also looking for the approval later this year for our multiple myeloma drug. This is a head-to-head study against the standard of care, gave up to 3 years overall survival improvements. And, we've already had approvals across Europe, Japan, Canada, the UK, Switzerland, and we're really working hard, hopefully, to bring that to American patients too.
As a big global company, as you just laid out, Emma, how do the tariffs impact you? Where are most of your drugs manufactured that are sold to the U.S.? I know you have manufacturing here.
This is obviously a key question. We're all working on it very carefully and watching what's going on. But we updated our guidance for this year to the top end of the range, and we included in that obviously tariffs that have already been enacted, but also those indicated just this week between the US and Europe. The reality is that when we demerged with Haleon, the consumer company, we put a lot of work into redesigning our global supply chain to precisely allow for the kind of agility that this is required. I decided when I began as CEO that we were going to make the US the #1 priority for the company. It's doubled in size since we began our business there. It's gone from less than 40% of the company to over 50%. And as I said, in specialty medicines, it's 2/3. We broke ground recently on a brand new facility in Pennsylvania. We all in already have 5 factories. And, I was public last quarter to say that we have in our plans tens of billions of investment in the US, because it is, over the next few years, it is still the best country in the world as a source of and market for innovation. And our commitment continues there.
So, the news today on India, 25% tariff. I know there's a lot of drugs manufactured in India. Does that affect you? And also Europe. You mentioned that the trade deal with Europe, okay, not at all on India, but what about Europe and 15% tariff on pharmaceuticals? What's that going to do for you and overall for drug costs in this country, do you think?
Obviously, traditionally tariffs on pharmaceuticals have been excluded from tariffs, but just because the #1 priority is always to secure supply. As I said, in our guidance, which is upgraded to the top end of the range, we have included not only the tariffs that are already enacted, but also the indicated tariffs on Europe. There's a lot more to settle down on this, though, because we have to see the 232 investigation results, which is coming any day, and also the details of how this plays out in the context of any trade deals. But we've assumed it's covered. We'll see what happens. That will have some impact in COGS, but overall, it's included in our upgraded outlooks for the year. So momentum is good. We've acted with agility, and we'll continue to respond as these the conclusions play out.
Well, it's a good update. Thank you for talking about all these issues that are affecting your industry, your stock, which is up almost 4% now. Emma Walmsley, it's good to see you from GSK.
Great to see you too. Thanks, sir.